Hi, this is Bob Dennis talking to you straight from my mad scientist laboratory. You probably know me as the person who invented the micropulse ICES technology, which is why you're on the mailing list for this, unless you randomly found this video. Anyway, for those of you who are familiar with the technology I've developed for pulsed electromagnetic fields, there is another technology that I've developed that I've been working on for a few years. Some of you have seen and heard about it on the internet. It is called the Cortical Metrics brain gauge, and we recently got FDA listing for the medical clinical version of this device for somatosensory testing. So I would like to offer to people who are familiar with my technologies a physically identical, functionally identical version that's made specifically for self-hackers. And it looks like this, like a computer mouse. And you just plug it into your computer, download some very simple software from our website, and it applies very mild vibration stimulation to 2 fingertips. And we use that vibration to actually measure your brain function. Those 2 points on those 2 fingers talk to 2 specific points on your somatosensory cortex. And by vibrating the tips of those fingers very slightly differently, and then asking you questions about how you perceive that vibration, it works sort of like an eye test for testing your eyesight, where we can use just a piece of paper with some smaller and smaller letters on it and then give you a very precise optical prescription. We can use this somatosensory testing device using very precise vibrations on your fingertips, and we can tell you a lot of things about the state of your brain health as well as states of brain injury. Anyway, I thought you'd be very interested in this. We have a version that's specifically for self-hackers, straight from Bob's mad scientist laboratory. Actually, there were other people involved. I can't take full credit for it. But you might find this very interesting if you're interested in brain health, brain injury, brain self-hacking. It is by far the most accurate tool that anybody can buy anywhere for any amount of money, anywhere in the world, for directly measuring brain intracortical dynamics and somatosensory function, as well as higher order functions in the brain. We can do this because when we stimulate the fingertips, we're actually doing it different ways that calls in different functions in different locations of the brain. So we can tell you things about brain adaptation, plasticity, fatigue, how well you can judge time and order of things and amplitude of different stimuli, and how well your brain adapts to these different stimuli. So this is an ultra precise scientific device. It has a precision of less than 1 millisecond and a less than 1 micron of displacement, 1/1,000,000th of a meter. So it's much smaller even than an individual living cell, which is about 10 or 20 times bigger than that. With that kind of precision, we can actually get a very good reading on how well your brain is functioning for very slight differences in somatosensory stimulation. And we can actually detect extremely subtle effects on your cognitive functioning that may relate to fatigue, can relate to different foods that you've eaten. Some people can actually detect a change in their cognition when they eat chocolate. There's no other way to do that. Maybe you can feel it, but there's no other way to measure it. So this device called the brain gauge, I'll give you some links below. We're offering a special just for the next 2 weeks for people who are interested in self-hacking, or interested in brain health and brain development and brain function. So you can test how different foods, different exercises, different chemicals, different environmental factors, different physiologic factors like fatigue, how these different things impact your brain function. And you can do it all with the brain gauge. So please have a look at the links below, and hopefully you'll visit us. You can read about it. We have over 60 peer-reviewed scientific publications. This is real science, and we're putting it in your hands so you can use it for your own brain health.